All right, folks, welcome back to the Saw. Sorry this is a little bit delayed, but we didn't get to finish filming the back 9 here as we got rained out. We were playing the front 9, but I'm still here with Tracy behind the camera. We brought Roku with us as well, so I'm sure you'll hear him barking at some point in time throughout the video. Right now he's just taking in the environment, so probably just ignoring everything right now. But anyway, we are back here. It's a nice, beautiful day. No rain should show up. But we're going to start out on hole 10. It's 380 feet. Again, all holes here are par 3. I think I shot even on the front 9. And basically just got to get through this gap here straight in front of the tee, and you can kind of see the top of the basket way in the background. It's a little bit to the right. You can see the top of the yellow band there, just right in front of that tree. So yeah, pretty tough shot. You got to hit a pretty tight gap. That's about maybe 100, 150 feet off the tee, and then just try to get down there. Give yourself a chance. Well, I got down there, it kind of stabled out. I think there's a bit of a tailwind coming through, so I tried to throw something understable, but I think it just stabled out to the left too much. I wonder if like a forehand would actually be good here. I'm gonna try that just for fun. I feel like a forehand would work if it goes to the right, but if I go too much right, I don't know, we'll see. Oh my God. Maybe the forehand is the play. I don't know if the camera caught it because it's probably too zoomed out, but yeah, that was nuts. All right, so here's my first throw, the Hades. Maybe like 100 feet to go on that. Just caught this tree right here. And then my forehand is way down there. With that said, this is a pretty easy par approach, so I'm definitely going to take a par here, but I'm going to try to putt from the yellow one, see if I can get a birdie, because I know we usually do 2 off the tee to start the round. So there's the forehand, about, I don't know, 30, 35 feet away from the basket, so I got a really good throw on that. Definitely think the forehand is the play in the future for me on this hole. That's a par for me. All right, so now we're at hole 11. It's about 280. This is a classic backhand turnover or a forehand hole. It's the fairway is right on this left-hand side here along the ditch in between the bricks. And you can kind of see the basket if you look between all the trees right here. You can see.
Oh, it's over there.
What?
Never mind.
Yeah. I don't know what you were looking at. I threw that way too far, like way too far, like not even remotely close. How much trust? Stuff real quick to see. Are you still filming?
Yes.
So that was like my highest speed. Even with the tail when it kind of flipped up. There goes Roku. Go get it, buddy. All right, so here's where my forehand landed. It actually wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought it actually pushed too far forward, and it did, but not by much. And it got like a really good skip and roll away from the ditch. So still a really long putt though for birdie. I mean, this is like another 35 or 40 footer. So I'm not really giving myself a whole lot of scoring chances, but maybe one of these long putts will drop. Got a bit of a headwind though. Always gonna make putting a little bit more difficult. Kind of want to make the disc rise up and fly up the basket, so I'm gonna try to aim a little lower. Nope, still just floated it. So that's gonna be a par. All right, so now we're at hole 12, and this is probably one of the most fun holes in the course. It's just like a lock and load and just throw it as hard as you can kind of throw. It's about 420, 430 feet, but it definitely is gonna ride downhill a good bit. The ditch line of water plays kind of in the middle, like horizontally across the fairway, so you wanna make sure you get over that. Yeah, basically you just unload on it. Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as you can see, all my discs pretty much landed in the same spot. Didn't get as far as I wanted to, that's for sure. Especially with the tailwind, I was really hoping I could really push these, but I just wasn't really getting a good release on them. Tailwind sailed them out a little bit earlier than I expected. I probably should have put them on some Anheuser and really forced them over. That's what I did on the very last throw, is I did say screw it, I'm just gonna blast this on a bunch of Anheuser. And that disc is actually way the heck up there. It's actually pin high, so I actually did get it to full like 420 feet. Thanks to the tailwind. It's an Avenger SS way up there. So, which I would have did that earlier. So this leaves me with obviously a really long approach. So I'm probably just gonna chip up and get my par and get out of here because there is water behind the basket. So can get risky trying to run like a really crazy long putt, because if you go past the basket, like 5 feet behind it, there's another piece of the ditch that would be OB. Roku Disc Explorers. Get in. Let's run under the basket for par. All right, so now we're at hole 13, 302 feet. This road obviously to the right-hand side, OB, basket's gonna be under the tree over there to the left. So really what you wanna do is just push something straight that's gonna hyzer out at the end and fade left pretty hard and try to get under that tree and give yourself a chance for a birdie putt. That's really the name of the game on this hole. Definitely very gettable. We have a bit of wind swirling around right now. It was a headwind earlier. Now it's a little bit left to right. I'm gonna throw something a little bit more overstable than I normally would. Hope that I can fight against the wind and get towards that.
Oh.
Not down there, but I think I'm short.
Nice.
Big putt. First birdie, I think, in a long time. Since like hole 2. All right, so now we're at hole 14, about 305. You can see it's just straight ahead, actually, from the tee sign. Basically, you need to throw something that's going to go low and make it up there. A forehand over the ditch that eventually comes back to the right is kind of the preferred play, probably. You could hyzer flip something dead straight, but you have to be perfect height to actually be able to make it all the way to the basket. So I think the forehand, for me, is definitely kind of generally always the play. And so that's what we're going to try to do. We've got a bit of a left and right headwind, it looks like, so I'm going to throw something a little bit more overstable than I normally would on a forehand, just try to see if I can fight the wind and get down there somehow and stay low enough to not hit these branches.
I think you parked it.
I think I'm short, but it was a good throw. Can't be mad at that.
Nice.
All right, so now we're at hole 15, 355 feet. It's way uphill though. You can see just way up the hill between the trees. A lot of trees you have to miss to get up there. Just like every other hole of this course. Guess what the par is, Tracy?
4, 3.
There you go. Everything's a par 3 here. Can't mad at that. Alright, so I got up here a decent bit. Obviously with it being so uphill, it's kind of hard to get much distance, especially into a headwind. Basket's obviously right through there. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck I want to do to get up there. Use the biggest gap if you can, I guess. Only problem is if I screw up, it's going way downhill. Maybe the forehand's a better thing. Way past the basket. Holy cow. I'm here to judge that. Do this for fun. They're both past the basket. Long par.
Oh, man.
It's gonna be a bogey, so that puts me back at I think 1 under. I had 2 birdies in a row before that. So yeah, back to 1 under. All right, folks, so now we're at hole 16, 360 feet. It is pretty downhill, but then it kind of comes back uphill. It goes across the ditch, and it's all about really just kind of hitting this gap right here in front of you on the tee. And I'm gonna kind of sacrifice distance for accuracy. Just try to make sure I get across the ditch and set myself up for a par approach and just make sure I hit the gap. All right, so unfortunately I got through the gap and I was over the ditch and I was making it towards the basket and I caught a tree. And I don't know how much we caught this on video, but it basically shot it like 80 feet to the left and kept it short of the ditch. That knocked it backwards. So now I have a pretty tough approach to try to scramble for a par. Basket's behind that jail cell of trees, I guess you could say. So I'm trying to throw a forehand out to the left and try to just get up there. I didn't skip as much as I thought it would. Yeah, so I didn't skip up the hill as much as I had hoped I would with that disc, so I still have a pretty decent putt to try to save my par and stay under par for the round. Yeah, whatever. My putting is just not there today. All right, so now we're on to one of the hardest holes in the course, in my opinion. It's hole 17, about 315 and uphill, and it's a tunnel shot. You can kind of see the yellow basket there tucked in way in the back in the woods. So you have to hit this initial gap off the tee, which is fairly wide, but as you get up the fairway, it just gets skinnier and skinnier and skinnier until it gets to the basket. So kind of like a triangle shape, I guess you could say, towards the basket, with the point of it being the basket. So definitely tough to get all the way down there for a birdie putt. I mean, you really have to lace it. Pretty easy to scramble for par though, as long as you stay in the fairway. So I'm just gonna try to go out the fairway driver and see what I can do. Way too much left fade at the end. It's hard to keep it straight for that long without it either turning over right into the field or getting stuck in the bushes on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, I drifted too far left, and now I have all this in my way of the basket. If I would have been a little bit less left, and maybe just like 5 feet to the right, there's like kind of a route I could have pitched up to get the par. Or if I'd have been even further left, like way out here, I could have forehanded my way up to the basket just fine. But unfortunately, I did neither of those things. I kind of sat somewhere in the middle, and now I'm in a tough spot. But I'm not even really sure how I'm going to get out of it. Showing the basket's like right here. See, it's just right there. As you can see, as Tracy walks up this fairway, it gets really tight, especially right about here where I'm standing. I mean, this gap right here is maybe starting to only get about 8 feet wide, and this gap right here, you know, not much. And that's exactly the gap you have to hit to skip up underneath the basket. You could go way right on this other side. If you look over here where my cart is, so that would be the open field on the right side of the fairway. You can go that way and push it into 18's fairway, which is through the trees right here, and then come up this way while the bleacher's up. But I don't know if that would be considered out of bounds or not, since it's on another fairway. So yeah, pretty tough. Let's see what we can do though. I'm just gonna try to do a crazy patent pending Anheuser backhand to just try to throw it out that way and have it come back right towards the basket. It's gonna be difficult, we're gonna try it. Nothing I can really do. So that's where I threw from, and this is the wall of bushes I was trying to get around. But I would have had to get to about where I'm standing here, and then actually get it around this way to the basket. So it was a really optimistic goal, which I just miserably failed at because I actually tilted it too much. Now I'm way out here. And this is my par putt. The basket's right there. So do I do it the fun putt or the guaranteed bogey putt? Fun putt?
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna actually go through this gap in the bushes right here and then have it come left towards the basket. Or I can go left side basket, but that's not as fun.
Almost.
I thought for a second I might go in. Wasn't too bad. There's the bogey.
Yeah.
I think that puts me back in even par for the round. All right, so we're at the last hole here at the Saw, and this hole 18 is about 370 feet, and it starts to go really uphill once you get past that bridge. And it's kind of up right there. You can just see it perfectly. It's really hard to like just get something that will get all the way down there, especially if you have a little bit of wind. Very easy to just be a little bit off and hit one of these first two trees on the left or right off the tee. You're not perfect. So definitely a shot that demands you to hit a gap. And again, with it being uphill, it makes it tough to get to the basket to have yourself a decent birdie putt unless you really got an arm, which I don't. The sad thing is, that was actually about to be ludicrously good until it just flared left right into a tree. I heard it just smash it. So it just stopped. All right, so this is a tree I was talking about that I hit. If I wouldn't have hit this, I could have skipped up even closer to the basket maybe. But I still got a pretty good throw. I can't be too mad about this one. This one definitely got through the gap and got me up here. Just a really tough putt for birdie, as most holes are here. Definitely not your easy par 3 course by any means. That's a little too far. Try one more. Why not? The classic, too far than not enough. But that's going to do it here. For me, that's going to be a par tapping easily, so that means I end par for the round, which is not too bad for this course. This is definitely a very demanding course. A lot of really long par 3s that are almost impossible to birdie, in my opinion, especially for people that are like less than a pro level. But it's a really fun course. There's only like maybe 2 or 3 holes I don't like. There's a lot of really fun holes here. They've done a great job with the property that they have. And yeah, hope you folks enjoyed it. If you did, please follow, subscribe for more content, and catch you next time here at Dustin Disc.